And we're late. So Ryan and I are already on tangents. So welcome to ISO Buddies. We're going to try to do a little more of an actual intro to the show. This isn't it, but next time maybe. So this is ISO Buddies, where we're going to talk about all things ISO and all things Buddy. You'll notice that Isopod is that's Gordon, our logo guy, our little, mascot. He is an Isopod. That's how the show started. We've branched out since then, as you'll know if you've seen 2 episodes. Today we're going to talk to Ryan Marshall of Marshall Arachnids about innovation in our hobbies. So you guys, for the second half of the show, you'll see where you can kind of cue in on innovations that you've noticed or been a part of or use at home. Like maybe you use a product in a totally new, crazy way for a totally random species that works out really well. That's the start. That's how it starts, right? But Ryan has developed over the last couple of years, I think. He's the creator of the Purple Box, but he decided that wasn't good enough. The Purple Box is a pretty solid item, which is still for sale. But he decided that's not the end. We're going to make it that next level. And I've been on board about knowing about this for what I think is quite a while, because I was shocked that I got let in on the secret beforehand. But it's pretty dope, you guys. I'm excited to have Ryan on here. I'm excited to talk about it. I'm excited that he's in the woods up on a mountain right now. This is life now for Ryan Marshall. So we're going to bring him in, and we're going to talk about innovations, okay? Welcome back, Ryan.
Hey. How's it going, my friend?
I'm trying to bring the big energy. Hey,
we're chilling. I heard you. We're chilling on mountain. We're on mountain time now, man. So
that's
we're
good.
chilling. We're chilling. It's the end of the day.
Like Thursday there. That's crazy. I don't know how time zones work, but yeah.
Yeah, I think we're just an hour. We're an hour ahead of you. Where are you at?
I think so. Yeah, you're east, right? I'm in Illinois. So what time is it? It's 8:30 here now.
Oh no, we're in part of Tennessee where it's the same. So we're on the same time frame. We're 8:32.
It's just that dark. I guess it's that dark here.
Yeah.
Okay, so this isn't even a big deal. A lot of people have a hard time. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Hive. No, the honeycomb.
Got it. Yeah.
Guys, I've been calling it the Hive for weeks.
He has, but it's been cool because it's been giving me some slogan ideas and some different design ideas. So it's been working out. I've just been letting him do it. It's awesome.
See, I'm innovating your own product for you.
You are, man. Yeah.
I tried at the last second. I tried to throw one in at the last second, and I didn't know you were like 2 weeks away from reveal.
Oh.
And you were like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. So maybe in a future mod, maybe in a future expansion on this thing or update.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. Who knows?
Hey, man, keep throwing them at me. I mean, people don't understand, we're on our own program, but I'm taking everything in. Everything everyone says, it leads me to different things, and we're just going to try it all. So I say keep throwing it at me.
I mean, they're all at least worth considering, right? So
yes.
Whatever. Like all this stuff is, at least when people give me ideas, I'm like, that doesn't really work, but, and then you see that light bulb.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Like, wait, it does work just like this instead of like this.
Exactly. You reroute. Yep.
Everybody's got good ideas.
They do, man.
Tennyson.
Yeah.
Tennyson doesn't really have any good no, he does. Super smart kid. He's worried about civil rights right now, and I think that's so adorable for an 18-year-old. It's so awesome to see a kid get civil into it. So, guys, we're going to show you who wants to see the Hive honeycomb. Who wants to see the honeycomb right now? If you haven't seen it,
Hive.
How has the response been at the shows before we get into it? How's the response been to the honeycomb?
Awesome. Better than I had expected, to be honest with you. Online, I mean, we've only done one drop, and we can get into that in a minute. But the response to seeing the product and our description of it and showing it off has been very positive. We've gotten a ton of feedback since day one, so it's been great at the shows. People can't wait to get their hand. I actually pick it up and put the product in their hands, and they're like, "Wow, this is really lightweight." And they ask me all about it, and usually, everyone's here like, "Oh, it's glass. Oh, it's acrylic," and then I kind of explain to them what makes it unique. Yeah, and it's just kind of like a, but it's been great. It's been super cool, man. like I said, everyone's got great ideas, and they keep everyone. I invite it. You know, I'm like, tell me what you think. What do you think? What would you change? What don't you like? You know, but it's been great. It's been very positive.
Awesome. And I like the
Yeah.
feedback you're open to it because you had some prototypes out a little bit for people to check out too, right? Originally before.
I did, yeah, and I did that on purpose too. I was actually taking the prototype, which is similar layout, but we changed. We had already changed things like before I decided to take this prototype on the road, and I just set it on our display at the shows and just had people ask questions about it. I would put not for sale on it. I would put prototype and be like, talk to me, tell me about it, you know, and they get hands on with it, and um, yeah, it's been great. It's been super cool.
Yeah.
But I did that on purpose, you know, because what I think, I'm learning, like, not everyone might think the same way, obviously, or they might see it a different way, or like we had mentioned, like throw a little idea in there that I didn't even think about. That actually happened with a new design last week with a hobbyist. He threw something at me, and I was like, that's way better than my idea. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and that just happened last week. So I'm gonna go ahead and make that change. I'm just gonna do it. You know, I was like,
You
genius.
get so laser focused. It's so crazy.
I do.
Like you've
yeah.
already changed things on this design. So
Yep.
to kind of accommodate the lights, but we'll get into that. All right, let's bring it on and see, guys. Here's the honeycomb, or part of it, I guess. Can I scroll from
That's
here?
the top part.
No. This is the top part, guys. This is the zoomed in view on the Marshall Arachnids website. You can go into the shop in the enclosures. It's kind of down at the bottom, which I would innovate it to the top, but that's me. It's under a bunch of the purple boxes, so you get to see the old one. And this is just, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking, you guys. It kind of looks like a lot of other ones. It kind of does at first glance on the internet here. Visually, the only real thing that I see that's different is this light. Can you see my cursor moving?
Yeah, I see
where
it.
you're at? Okay.
Yeah.
Is this light situation? Oh, can I make it smaller? Oh, I guess that's
There you
not
go.
great. It's only $99.99, guys, if they're in stock. Which they're not, because they're flying off shelves.
They are, man.
But this is this is what you see first. This is the difference, right? You have this hanging light that comes with it, right?
It's an option. Yeah.
It's an
And
option. Okay.
That's an option. Yeah. So that's what makes it $100, and then the bare enclosure is 80, which is we tried to make this as comparable and competitive to other thermoplastic enclosures on the market of the same size.
Right, and we're saying thermoplastic. So what is that? What's the difference of that between thermoplastic and acrylic? Like normal.
So acrylic is a thermoplastic.
Okay.
I didn't. Yeah. I it's a type of thermoplastic. I didn't want to simply call this what it is, which is PETG. That's the material that this enclosure is made out of. Okay. I wanted to stick to the theme thermoplastic because it raises the question, what does that mean? And that gives me a chance to explain what that means. And then 2, I don't want to stick to just PETG because there are at the top of my head at least three different materials that I have to make enclosures out of that I want to work with that fall under the thermoplastic category that is not acrylic.
Okay.
Right? So that's why I want the honeycomb to be like this all-encompassing thing. Basically that frame that you see top and bottom right there, that's kind of like that is honeycomb. And then I want to take that frame and I want to put that on different materials of different sizes and make that kind of like a modular frame, right? So you can stack them, you can put the light bracket on them, and it's kind of our proprietary thing that's made in-house, right?
Love it. So now that brings me to a question. So I'm sorry, what makes it a honeycomb? Because it doesn't have a hexagon shape. So where does the honeycomb name come from?
Yep. So the honeycomb idea was, I was going to name it Hexed because that kind of goes with kind of our logo. Okay. But the honeycomb idea is like the hexagonal shape is interlocking, right? And so that's where that comes from. Is you can stack these or you can put a light bracket on them. We're actually remember that hobbyist I told you that gave me the idea with the stackable light bar. And basically, I'll just go ahead and talk about it. I'm going to take this top part right here and I'm going to flatten it.
Right here.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to take that light bracket. I'm going to flatten it and then I'm going to put posts on the end of it, so that you can still use the light bracket and stack them. That was his idea. Shout out to Patrick.
That is awesome.
Genius. Yep. So the whole honeycomb idea was just I like the way it looks. I like the way a honeycomb pattern looks, but the idea was you can stack these things and make them interlocking, and there's more coming with that too. So
Yeah,
right now
yeah.
these are front opening sliding enclosures. We're
Magnet
gonna
line.
have,
The
yep,
magnets are really good on this too. I got to see the prototype in
yes,
person, and I got to be honest, at the show, it didn't like work together quite yet. It was a prototype, and
hmm
I was like, "Oh, this is cool." But then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, "You know what? Every piece that I touched was really high quality."
and honestly, it's changed. I don't even know if you know this, but that magnet, when you
Yeah.
saw it, was hidden behind the logo
Okay.
up top there.
Yeah.
We with that we didn't like how it was still slamming home, and because this material is flexible, if the
Yeah.
magnet was put there, we found it was flexing the left side of the enclosure, so we went ahead
Oh.
and moved the magnet to the left. If you're looking at the enclosure, the top left, and
Okay.
that completely eliminated that flex, and it really made it nice and smooth when you're closing it, so that you're
Love it.
not scaring the animals when you open it. So the one, yeah, like I said, the prototype, not even the production model. Um, so
Right. Right.
that is what's different. Yeah.
That was like last year or something. That
Yep.
was like a good 6 to 8 months ago at NARBC, I think. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. You got it,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I've made probably a dozen changes to that since then. So,
Yeah,
uh,
like it was still. I saw the innovations going on into it. Not to use our title word again, but
mhm.
um,
Yeah. Well, that's what it's about. Yeah. You're right.
yeah.
Hmm.
But at the same time, I was like, okay, and I was like, how's this going to tear it up? And then as I saw new just pictures coming out, you were sending me a couple times updates, and then when I saw you release it, I was like, oh yeah. What do you
Yeah.
guys think in the audience? What do you think about this thing? I already saw Tennyson say, wow. I do think the slats are a little wide for morning geckos. You could
They are.
probably
Yep.
have
And
to
we're
get some
working
spring
on
in or
that.
something. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We've already gotten feedback. That gentleman I mentioned earlier, Patrick, I talked to him at Schaumburg NARBC, and we already talked about gecko stuff. And gecko, we could talk about this later too, but
Yeah.
yes, and we're very upfront. We tell everyone that's not really what this initial release was designed for. It
Sure.
was really designed for tarantulas because that is, after all, what we do.
Right. Right.
But we've got a model coming out for specifically geckos and other micro herps. So
Love it.
that's just going to be part of it. Yep.
Yeah, I
But
don't know
you're
if you were
right.
involved. We were coming up with ideas of what to keep in it. I posted a
Hmm.
picture, I think, in ISO Buddies, and I was coming up with ideas of what you could keep in this thing besides a tarantula.
Oh,
I think you could keep like a small salamander or like red efts would be cool in there. Um, like a single dart frog would be cool.
yeah, yeah. Dendrobatids for sure.
Yep,
Yep, yep.
because they basically you should be keeping them singly anyway, from what I understand.
Yeah,
If
if
you're
you're
not
keeping
breeding,
them as a pet, if you're not breeding, yeah,
right, right.
definitely. Yep.
Now, is this light? Everybody's asking about the light. Is it LED?
That is an LED. Yep.
Okay.
So I think right now what we're launching them with is 12 volt. That's kind of what's standard.
Okay.
But I'm also going to offer 5 volt, which connects to like those little USB, like what you plug your phone into. Those
Oh
little.
yeah, yeah. The C type.
Yep. So I'm going to give
Okay.
customers down the road, once I get this production kind of streamlined, you're going to have the option. So you can go 5 volt, 12 volt, or 24 volt. And the 24 volt is going to offer a dimmer switch, because
Yeah.
24 volt LED, if you know anything about it, it does get quite warm, which I like. And I want to offer that, but I want people to have the ability, if they don't want to turn it down. Now, the higher you go up in voltage, you got to remember it's going to get brighter, right? So
Sure.
if you go higher, you can grow plants better, right? So
Okay.
that's the option behind that. We'll probably offer that within the next 2 months. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Awesome. I was going to ask if you could. Is there a possibility or a thing that you know of where you could like daisy chain these if you have a bunch? So you're gonna have 57
yeah,
plugs.
there is. And that product does exist. I just got to get my hands on it. I just haven't crossed that bridge yet. But yes, there is a way to daisy chain them. And I think once we release that new bracket where you can keep the light and still stack them,
Yeah.
we'll probably include that as an option, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm just
yeah.
curious. What's the
Yep,
size? These are 8 by 12. Is that right?
you got it. Yep,
So these are ones you're selling that are set up with live plants and the whole spiel is ready to go.
you got it. Yep, yep.
Okay.
So and honestly, most of those right there, I'm probably just going to keep for myself because I like them. But we've got a lot of animals that are ready to jump up to something at this size. So I think,
Okay.
well, I'm going to go ahead and keep those. I like that.
Yeah, people were
But
talking
yeah,
about mantids for these, and
yes. Yep.
a centipede maybe, like all kinds of stuff that could be semi-arboreal or
Yeah.
whatever in these guys. And I agree, like these are so good. Now, one of the audience members, Kyle, who is into all this stuff pretty hard, is saying that the UVB won't go through this, so
Correct.
it'll reflect off.
Yes.
So that's a concern if you're not keeping tarantulas, and it can be something else that's something to be aware of.
Yeah. So that's great. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's talk about this. So this material right here, this thermoplastic, which is again called PETG. Not that you would use UVB for this, but the material itself does not do well when exposed to UVB. It tends to discolor and eventually degrade. So that, again, that's not the intention behind this one. But moving forward, we are going to use, I'll just tell you, the next material to come out will be PVC. And then we're also going to look into ABS. I'm still on the fence about that because when ABS is real thin, it likes to bow and warp when it gets a little warmer. So I got to play around with the thickness of that material. Okay. But yes, PVC would be a great option for that. And when we release the PVC enclosure, we'll use big soffits, like aluminum soffits that UVB can penetrate, right? And that I imagine gecko people will like that. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, because that would be branch out and use the honeycomb technique for just about everything. I could see these with like you have them here. Hold on, let me switch back. Like you have them here kind of set up together. Mm-hmm. But then when they're stackable, so imagine these up, sorry, I'm scrolling up like there's more on top. But imagine layers, a couple layers on your shelf, and you have like right here in the one on the left, you've got a tarantula, and then you've got a mantis, and then you've got, I don't know that I'd keep all these next to each other because it might stress each other out, but you can put a divider in, that would be fine.
Right.
Then you've got a dart frog on the end, or that's just to mention the things that we already talked about, or a tree frog or something. Like I said, I imagine they would stress each other out if they're just sitting next to each other.
It depends, yeah. But you also brought up another point I want to talk about because someone else brought this up. Notice how when they're stacked next to each other like that, the doors are right hand opening, so they slide, right? Okay. They might slide into one another. So I also want to offer a swivel system. So basically, if you look at my hand here, I have a track that goes on the top and bottom of the enclosure, and they swivel out like this. Okay. So that way you can stack them literally right next to one another. This is in the works right now because, again, right now, the way they are in that picture, if they're uniform, you can't open the doors. I just want people to know that we're thinking about this stuff. So coming in, I don't know, probably next year, that will be an option. Is I'm going to design. I don't like hinges, especially when you're dealing with plastic. I hate hinges, but we can design a pivot system on the door like this, and still use magnets. So that's something else we're looking at too, because I know people are thinking about that. We've already heard plenty of that. Like, I can't really stack them next to each other unless you stagger them, and they're right, So
here's what I'm thinking. Here's what you do at home right now. Before that, so when they get stackable, you put the bottom one on a Lazy Susan, and then stack them like 5 high. And you keep, like rotating each one. So you'd have 4 right on the bottom, but they'd each be cocked at different angle. So you'd open one and then swivel, open, swivel. Then you just keep stacking. That's a good base.
All the way up on the Lazy Susan, yeah.
Yeah, as long as you don't have cats, you're good to go. So you get that Lazy Susan going.
Right.
For those of you guys that don't know, that's a really cool little spinny plate that your mom had to try to give you napkins, but you would just spin it really hard on the table. And make everything fly off, and your mom would get mad.
I never had the pleasure, but I do know what you're talking about.
My grandma used to put like a relish tray on it, and invariably one of us would take an edge of it and just zing, and there'd be olives and coleslaw and all kinds of stuff all over the place.
Nice.
That Hecka is here. Oh, we got Hecka's here. We got Frank. We got people showing up.
Good.
Tennyson's here. Even after I tease them a little bit, I always tease the kids because they need it. Kids don't get bullied enough anymore.
I agree, man.
That's horrible. They all get bullied online when they're trying to be at home and in their safe space. Like, I believe in safe spaces. when they're at home and they're supposed to be secure, and they got this bully like basically coming in their house and telling them something. You know?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Why'd you wear that dumb hat? I love that hat.
Hey, what is that hat, by the way?
This is my ISO Buddies hat. This is the
Oh,
very
is it?
first
Oh, there it
merch
is.
that we had. Yeah, this is the original ISO Buddy, hand drawn, and
Hey, you
then
got to get me one of those, man.
you can go on Redbubble and get one. I make no profit from it. I just have on it base price.
I want to pay you for the hat.
We're working on getting the hats made by Luch Carlucci, so I have to send him some merch for tests,
Gotcha.
and then he'll send it back or whatever. Have some.
Okay.
We're gonna make Henley's, the official 3/4 sleeve Henley's is gonna be the official ISO Buddy shirt.
Nice.
Yeah, it's that ideally this will cost more. The top shelf one's gonna have the ISO Buddies logo here, and then on the back it's gonna say Giglone across the back like that.
Nice.
Pizzeria.
Yeah.
Pizzeria sign, that kind of, you know what I'm talking about? Like Mama
I do.
Celeste kind of thing going on.
Yeah, man, give me one.
Yeah, awesome.
I'll pay you for one. That would be great. I love it, man. Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna get the sticker. I have to get the stickers still for all of my.
Get stickers for sure. Stickers first.
Patreon, love you guys on Patreon. Tonight Josh is the bully. I kind of am a bully. I hope everybody thinks that I'm not, but I tease people a lot. Is all. That's my thing.
Teasing's good, man.
I'm an innovator in teasing.
There you go.
But I have this ability where I have to watch it because I have this thing. It's like a superpower where I can dial in on what you got teased about the most as a kid. And hate, and I don't mean to, but I push that button, and then people get really, really mad. It's unintentional. I think it's just being funny, and it's always not.
That's all right. You got to rise above that. Yeah. I was teased a lot too, man. Yeah, I was bullied a lot in school, so I get it. But
I was till my senior year, and then I turned that mess around.
Good for you.
Yeah, we're working on getting a bleep button too, so I can swear.
Hey, I like that idea.
Yeah, can't bleep guests really, but yeah.
That's okay. Yeah, for us that would be great.
Just block the person. Yeah,
I'm reading these comments here.
Yeah, me too. Oh, Kyle Sterling made an enclosure. This is the kid that has like a zoo in his house, so I know he's already looking at this, going, "What can I?"
Yeah, Kyle, can you tell me how thick that ABS was? Thin or thick? What was that dimension? I'm curious.
4x3x6. Jesus. Yeah, he's an innovator. I'm building like racks and stuff and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, man, the stuff that people are making is incredible because, I mean, we can kind of dive into this, but I've been doing quite a bit of these expos, Jess and I. And so we've been able to see people that may not be very well known or might not have 1/4 inch. Okay, perfect. Good to know. Thank you, Kyle. Anyway, but we've been able to see what these people who aren't very well known or might not have a website are able to make. And like everyone is getting access to these 3D printers or table saws or CNC machines or lasers even are coming down quite a bit. And man, they're making some really cool stuff. Like it's pretty neat, you know. And I'm really no exception. Like I've kind of got a little bit of a cheat code, you know. Shout out to my brother. My brother is the man who makes my ideas that you're looking at here on the screen come to life because I don't know how to 3D model. You know, so there is that extra step. But you know, I'm just not a mechanically inclined person. But there are many people that also happen to keep herps. And man, I'm telling you what, it is super cool. And especially this 3D printing technology, like they're making a lot of really convenient things that are holding up to cleaning and chemicals like bleach and vinegar. You know, I just learned over the weekend that there's some materials that people are making like gecko cups out of that are being able to be hung on like suction cups or magnets, making things just quicker and easier and more accessible to the animal that we can use. You know, and eventually this stuff's going to end up in zoos too. You know, right now everyone's using like porous like stone and ceramic and all that other stuff. But, you know, there's, again, these thermoplastics, like they are safe, you know, and they're making different avenues for a lot of different industries. You know, it's super neat. I'm excited about it because I'm taking notes too, man. Like, I got to be honest, like I walk around and I look at what these people are doing and I'm just like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, what can I do, you know? But
right.
Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. Because what it's doing too, like just like any other industry, it's creating here's the buzzword innovation, right? It's driving that market. It's like I got to make something better. I got to make something better. I got to make something better. And that's always been my outlook. Is like go ahead and copy what I make. I'll just make something better. You know what I mean? Like I'm just driven and that's just what's going to keep happening. At the end of the day, the keeper, the average keeper who gets to enjoy their pets gets a fantastic product that's like competitively priced and actually functional for their animal, and that's what we're seeing. It's fantastic. I love it. I'm not scared. Like I'm not scared about it at all. Even with China taking designs, which we can get into.
Yeah.
But
I feel like as soon as you post something, they're like, yoink.
Oh yeah.
Put that up on Temu.
Yeah. Oh
for
yeah.
$6.
Yep, that Zilla. I think we talked about this before, but that little Zilla micro habitat thing.
Yeah.
Yep, that was my design. That was my brother's design. That was our design.
No.
Oh yeah, 100%. But
I have that. It's like right here.
Right, because it's so. I can show you the original. I wish I had my phone.
I have the Zilla one. I don't have yours because I didn't know you.
I will. Yeah, I'll show you. It failed. So long story. We were trying to do something like this. We made something that was way better than the microhabitat, but it was the same idea. It was a collapsible material. It linked together. It shipped, disassembled. It looked identical almost. And I launched a GoFundMe because I was going to buy a laser. Right, we just talked about it. I was like, okay, I'm gonna sell these enclosures. I'll use that material or that money to buy a laser, and I'll make these enclosures. It failed terribly. Like it failed miserably. So then but I left a video up. I left a video of me explaining what we had made. My brother made it at the university with the laser equipment.
Okay.
And when I opened that YouTube account or that email associated with that, I had dozens and dozens and dozens of Chinese manufacturers emailing me saying, "Hey, give me the DXF file for this. Hey, sorry, your Kickstarter failed. Give me the DXF file."
Wow.
And sure enough, dude. So China made that almost identical, right? Like what you see, and Zilla just bought it or whoever bought it from them, right? And then like marketed it. So even but all that does is go to say like we're making cool stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's happening. Like that innovation shift is absolutely happening. And when I see that, like, okay, they're successful, I'm just going to go ahead again and make something better. I'm going to make something different. I'm going to make something better. And at the end of the day, your average keeper benefits, so.
That's wild.
Yeah. It's pretty neat, man. It's been fun. I'll send you that. I'll send you a picture of the original. I called it the Spider Link. That was the name of the original.
Spider Link. Oh, yep. That's way better name than Honeycomb.
No. The original Zilla micro habitat design was called Spider Link. Yeah.
Right.
Because it links together without adhesive, just like the other one does.
Okay.
Yeah.
These are so good. I think it's a great design for like a jumper.
Sure.
I just have the little one. I have the little bitty one. So.
Yep.
And I've kept just wild caught, basement caught jumpers. In there, and they've done really, really well.
Good.
What was my question? So here's the door thing. If you guys can see, this is where you can kind of see where the magnet housing is right here.
Yep. So the magnet is sunk in the door, and then in that foot.
Clasp is over here.
You got it.
Got it. And so these little feet. Now this whole light apparatus comes off, guys, and there's like it's not quite a hexagon. It's like a half-agon.
Yeah, half-agon. Good one.
Hey, feel free to use that. Or a quarter-gon. It's a quarter-gon, baby.
Yeah.
And so they stack. So the feet of the bottom stack onto this, and then you can go up without the light. I know there's other lighting options that people use, like the tube lights and whatever else. I was talking about these with my little group. Coral showed up. Hi, bestie. Coral showed up here a minute ago and was talking about in the show here, but we were talking about these, and she reminded me that her tarantula likes to bask now.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know if it's because of you or because it's on a plant rack and just shows up there. I don't know if it's intentional. I think she's super into plants. So anyway, yeah. So you're spreading the gospel of
Well,
fragrance.
let me hold on. I want to pause you there because I think people tend to look at what I'm saying as like, oh, that's his opinion and this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah,
And it's it's not. I have my opinions. Don't get me
sure.
wrong, but what I'm telling most of our customers and what we've been
Oh,
rambling
that's
on
research.
annoyingly on YouTube is like, oh,
I don't know if the satellite goes away for a second. Can you guys
can you?
hear me, or can you hear Ryan?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Yes.
Okay,
So
let me
we were
back
talking
up.
about opinions, and then you said about we were talking about the light, and then you said it's not your opinion, and then you went.
Okay,
So
let me do that. Let me do that again. Yeah, that's perfect timing. No, so the tarantula basking thing and the spiders behaving like ectotherms, like that's what's very frustrating. Is that's not my opinion. That's just simply,
sure,
but that's biological science, right? And I know I'm
sure,
always rambling about it, but like what's interesting is that people have been keeping these animals for so long, have never experimented with thermal gradients, right? Like
right.
giving that animal that access or that ability to bask and
That's a pretty
be.
new thing.
I know, and it shouldn't
Yeah,
be.
for
You know,
everything.
right?
Gradients is a new thing for everything, and it's crazy.
Yeah,
Fish
but
tank people are doing it now, so you can have a
oh,
heat light or yeah, I just heard about this the other day. A heat
cool.
light or like a heater on the one side. So the trick is to get like, as far as I hear, is to get two under tank heaters on
Okay,
one end, so they can heat the whole tank, but the heat is kind of focused on one end. So you have
yeah,
then you put your filter or whatever on the other end, so it blows that heat around a little bit, but it's
that's
still
cool. Focus.
warmer on one side. Like this is a 100-gallon. Obviously, you can do it in a 100-gallon.
Yeah.
Um, but if you get too small, it's going to try to overheat and crack or whatever. You need to have the accommodation that it's going to heat the whole tank.
Okay, there it is.
Um,
Yeah, little
yeah,
detail. Yeah.
yeah. So, and to be fair, I don't promote this as like your idea, but you're the one talking about it the most. It's with
Oh, okay.
tarantulas. With
Well, yeah.
tarantulas, I haven't heard anybody else talk about offering. I've heard them talk about heat, but it's like a
Hmm.
general, like an under tank heater, and you're good to go, or on the side, you're good to go.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody talk about like giving them gradients, like you're
Okay.
talking about, and letting them
Interesting.
bask, like giving them a light source where they can bask. It's all like that I've seen on the side or the back. They have some that, excuse me,
Right. Right.
stuck on the back. Um, but yeah, you're the one that I know talking about it. I'm trying to give you props for getting the word out.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I will admit I have been loud, and it's certainly from a business perspective, it's not the best thing. I'll tell you that right now because I trigger a lot of people with it, you know, because people
sure.
take it personally, and I beg you, like, please don't do that. Like it, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But it's just that's just the nature of ectothermic animals. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like you walk outside and gradients exist everywhere. Like in every ectotherm, fish, frog, like invertebrate, reptile, doesn't
That's why they
matter.
generally have a burrow that's like 3 times their body length, so they can go
Exactly.
down cooler. Like they can
Yeah.
regulate where they want to be in the burrow to where they want to feel comfortable. So it
Right.
only makes sense. Like you're not going to be able to give them really, unless you're an insane keeper, like an ability to burrow 3 times their body length.
Correct.
Um,
Right. So
but
there's
I
some
don't know anyone who
compensation
does.
there.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
anyone who does that, but you can figure that out for them. You can help them figure that
Right.
out where they have areas to get to.
You got it.
So,
Yeah,
um,
man.
yeah. And
That's
when I
cool.
saw,
I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad it's growing. You know, like people are thinking, and that just ties back into the innovation, right? They're like
yeah,
animal science is innovating with the internet. Everyone has access to this information.
it's so crazy. It's so
Yeah,
crazy the changes that are coming.
it's,
Um,
it's awesome.
yeah. So, what else did I want to say about this thing? Or ask about it? Does anyone else have any questions about the honeycomb still? I'm going to talk about it again. So you switched. The purple box is made of a different material than the Hive because the purple box material tended to warp a little bit. Wasn't that the thing?
Yes. So Purple Box line is all acrylic, 100% all
Okay.
acrylic, everything. And yes, when you got past like the 9-inch mark at 5 millimeters, that's how it would behave. It would
Sure.
start to bow and warp. Um, I'll just go ahead and tell you because this is just how this happens. I did go ahead and pull the trigger on Purple Box 12-inch enclosure,
Okay.
so I'm bringing that back. But they're going to be 1/4 inch. Okay, so they're going to be 6
Okay.
millimeters. Okay,
Still
so
be thicker. Okay.
I'm going to try that. I'm going to bring it back because everyone asks me to do it, and I
Yeah.
tell them no. I tell them no all the time, but I'm going to go ahead and try it one more time. So I'm going to make the thickest 12-inch acrylic enclosure, I think, on the market right now. And we're just going to see what happens. This is going to be an experiment,
Hey,
and we'll
if it
see what
doesn't
happens.
work, here's the thing:
Hey,
if people wanted them
yeah,
anyway, and they knew that they kind of worked, and they still want them,
they do. I know they do.
then if there's less chance of that, I feel like if you make it that much thicker, that
Yeah,
there's less chance, then that's going to be a huge success because the Purple Box is still a great product.
I am happy with it. I'm happy
People
with it.
love
Yeah,
it.
me
So,
too.
and that purple bottom is dope.
Thanks.
Uh, it does. It looks great.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Jedi Monkey says, "How committed are you to that name? Because honeycomb is a little confusing for a rectangle." We went over this, man.
Yeah, so the honeycomb pertains to our logo, but for the most
Yeah,
part, the interlocking frame. So think of honeycomb is the frame because
yeah,
it's going to be a rectangle, it's going to be a square, it might even be spherical at some point. I don't know, but regardless, that interlocking system is going to be a hexagon, and that's the shape, right? So
right, right.
that little piece, that's what
That
this is all
cortagon.
about. Yeah, cortagon. That's what this is all about. So
Yeah, and it's your
yeah.
logo, and it confuses the Chinese bots that are going to steal your idea.
That's
So,
it. You nailed it, dude. So again, that stealing of our design really like, okay, we're gonna make this proprietary. So if you're gonna
yeah,
steal it and you're gonna copy it, then you're gonna have to really try. You're gonna have
yep,
to try instead of just rip it off completely, right?
yep.
So because I mean, come on. I mean, I'm all about everyone capitalizing on design and innovating, but
Not theft,
it is
not
it is
straight
our
theft.
yeah, man. So
I
just
think you
try.
can build. You can definitely build on someone else's design. So,
Sure,
for
and you
sure,
should.
for
Yeah,
sure.
make
Yeah,
it better.
that's how we get there. That's how
Yeah,
we get there. Or
yeah.
do what I do and just tell people, like, hey, make this. You never see it. You never see it happen. So maybe I don't know
Yeah,
anything. I just know how to name common species or common names for different species of isopod.
got it.
So, Justin's a Chinese bot. I knew it. I knew it. I knew I was catching an accent last time we talked. He's very confused right now. Yeah, the ventilation pattern is on purpose because of the hexagon, right? It's a
You got
hexagon
it. So
shape.
that just kind of feeds into
That's
it.
your guys'
Yeah.
jam. That's Marshall Arachnids.
And
What
I will
inspired the
say
hexagon?
too,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
the hexagon. Oh,
Yeah.
just our logo. So our logo looks like a tarantula butt for the most part. You know what I mean? That little M.
Okay. Okay.
And so I just kind of ran with it, dude. I didn't think too deep about it. You know.
Yeah.
It just kind of goes with the aesthetic, and I just like that. So it's easy. The hexagon is a very common thing. So, but yes, the ventilation pattern. I want to comment on that too because I just did it because I liked it, but
Sure.
we've heard a lot of feedback at this point from customers, and they say, "Man, I got to say, I noticed a huge difference in the air movement in the enclosure with the slats versus the little holes. You see those little
Okay.
series of holes." They said when I missed, your enclosure will evaporate within 18 hours or 24 hours, whatever. But the comparable
Yeah.
equivalent, you know what I mean? You're at 2 to 3 days to get the same evaporation rate. Okay, and it's the same size. There's probably the same amount of ventilation holes, but those slats seem to really move air better. So that's
That
great.
makes sense. That makes sense because there's
Yeah,
more nothing breaking it up as much. Like
correct.
the holes, there's all
Exactly.
those spots to break up the air movement.
Right. It's like a
Um,
little vent.
that's
Yeah.
just physics, guys. Physics, guys. I don't know the math, but I know the physics.
Yeah, it was an
Um,
accident, I'll be honest.
that's a
So,
happy accident. And then
yeah.
to answer, talking about the ventilation, Tennyson asked earlier, and I don't think it got addressed, but there is a ventilation hexagon on the top as well, on the lid. So it's
Yeah.
not just on the sides, the two sides.
Yeah, that's really important to us. We'll always have something on the top, not just the sides, because, that cross ventilation thing. We'll always have that
Yeah,
and everything we
that
make.
helps out a
Yeah,
lot.
for sure.
Um, because you want it to be able to dry out after a little bit, right?
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, much happier animals that way.
Yeah, I have to like let mine dry out the setup that I have, but I think drilling some cross fence in there would be good, or just
Right.
picking up a hexagon. So
Or there's that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Are you going to be able to make it to Tinley? You going to make it to the next one?
When is that? Is that in October again?
It's October. Yeah, the big
I'll
one.
definitely be at Tinley. Yeah.
I'll have one for you then.
100%. So if you guys are gonna go to Tinley, come on out, meet me, meet Ryan,
Yeah.
meet a couple other people, possibly Wally, my boys over at Exotic Empire, Josh Adler.
Oh yeah, Josh.
Yeah, solid.
He
dude.
just got married, man.
I know.
Yeah,
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah, I'm so happy for those two.
They're such a
so
cute
awesome.
couple too.
They are. They make
They've been
me
together
sick.
forever, apparently.
They have.
So
I'm happy for them.
he had a Cuban crocodile as his ring bearer. I think that was really cool.
Oh, I didn't even know that. That's awesome. He would.
I don't think he did. I just made that up. So
Oh, well, I
if he
could see
did,
it
that's cool,
happening.
but I could too.
Yeah.
They're terrifying, apparently. I didn't know that they were
They
terrifying.
can be. Yeah, they can be pretty sassy. Yeah.
I got sent pictures of a thing. Let's see. This is the enclosure that Kyle was talking about. I'm about to pop it up.
Okay.
Now, I was going to talk about innovations that we've seen. I've been in exotics for 40 years, 30 years, 30 years now, not 40 years, Jesus. But I have seen so many innovations. Where did you send it, dude? Kyle, where did you send the picture? Did you send? I don't know that we're friends on Facebook. It might be on my phone. So,
Yeah, that could be it.
that's not going to really help, but we'll see what we can do here. Oh, here it is. But I've seen so many innovations. Holy crap, this is huge. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this, because I'm not going to take the time during the show to kind of mess with it. So
What's in
Let's see.
there?
I'm going to swipe
Oh.
right.
It's a wood frame, and that's is that the ABS? Is that what he was talking about?
Yeah, this is the thing we was talking about earlier. I don't know what animal that is. Let me see. That's a piece of cork, I think. It's just the setup, pretty sure.
Okay.
I don't see anything in there. I don't have my glasses up, but I don't see an animal in there. I see it in the text.
Okay.
But yeah, so
Good to know.
I think this is great. I think this is a great innovation for the hobby. I think it's. I'm gonna stop sharing that. I was messing up my whole screen. Wait, Sandy Skinks is here, guys. So you know, Bingo is doing amazing, and Sandy sent me a blue tongue skink, northern Australia.
Nice.
I think that's right. I don't really know. She's orange with amazing markings. Amazing markings. She's kind of a common one, but she's so good. We'll have a link later. If you guys go to Sandy Skinks, she's offering 25% off a skink of your choice right now.
Boom.
Code ISOBuddies. 25%. That's pretty huge, guys.
That is good.
Mertens water monitor.
Oh, you have a Mertens in there.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Fun fact, that's one of the last reptiles that I had we had hatched at Omaha Zoo and I took care of. That's a cool animal. I actually watched them at one point. They're in a big enclosure at the zoo, but I had watched a female actually take her tail and kind of do this in one of the water features with minnows, and she curled the minnows toward her mouth. It was really cool. Like I've never seen a monitor do that. Yeah, she did one of these. That was amazing. Yeah, big.
That's
She actually,
amazing.
because their tails, are kind of like they kind of do this shape, right?
Yeah,
at the top. Yeah, she took it and used it like a shovel, and she curled the minnows to her face. It was so cool.
Them. Just heard the school.
Yep.
And then bam. Oh,
yep.
my God.
Anyway, fun fact. Mertens
That's
are beautiful.
really cool.
That's a cool animal. Yep.
It's cool to see the animals or zookeepers watch their animals. You never see them.
Yeah, I know. People. You know what, guys? We do need to. I think collectively we need to spend more time watching our animals, even if it's just 5 minutes. Just sit and watch them at their active hours.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You learn so much.
I forgot you were zookeepers. There's a funny story. I don't think you've heard it. I don't think I've told it on the show. So we were at Brookfield Zoo, and they have an exhibit. They've moved the poor bird a million times, but it's the cock of the rock. You know what I'm talking about? The orange. It's an orange, beautiful orange bird with a mohawk.
Okay.
I didn't name it. That was the name before I got here. The female's like a brown, whatever. You know how it is with birds. Kind of sad.
Yes. Yeah.
So we walk into the building. The building is it's just a hallway, essentially, with doors on each end. And then in the middle, you go into this bird thing. And there's just two doors. There's no like, you know how a lot of them have a set of doors and then another set of doors? So there's
Yes. Like a
get
vestibule.
out.
Yep.
Yeah. This don't have that. So, and if you open the doors on either end, kind of the same thing. Like you hit that handicap button and both of them open. So if a bird does get out, they can just, and they're gone.
Right.
So we get in and we're walking and I see we're the only people there because it's winter, right? These are tropical birds. On one of the light fixtures is the female or one of the females. And I'm like, oh shit, like she should not be out here, right? I need the bleep button. So we finally get a hold of the keepers and, you know, they run and lock one of the doors. I run and lock the other one. Like I throw the switch, the bolts. And they're like, okay, see, Magnificent Animals, one of their favorite birds. I knew that. This is for you, Magnificent Animals, for you, this story. And it's kind of terrifying. So it winds up being a little terrifying. So three of them come out with butterfly nets that are a little bit smaller than the bird. Like I expected like a fishing net, like a big, you can't see, like a big ass net. It was like this big. Now this bird is like a big pigeon, right? That's kind of the size of it. It's like a moderate pigeon. So they're trying to catch this thing and they're like, the bird gets, you know, not like cracked, but like slapped a little bit with the net while it's flying and then slapped again. Well, then this kid, there's a bench in the middle of the building, and this kid is like, Tennyson will love this. There's like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid, tall. He jumps off the bench. He jumps off the bench, and just hoops the thing. Like, perfect. I don't know what he did. It didn't touch the bird at all until it was in the net.
Hire that kid.
Yeah, I was like, this kid, we were applauding him. We were like, you are a god. Because the other ones, I was like, just give me the net. I'll take my shirt, scoop it in my shirt. Like, what are you doing? Like you're gonna kill this bird.
Yeah, for real.
They got it. It was fine.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Yeah.
That exhibit also has a Draco in it. I think.
Yeah.
The bird, the big, like big turkey-sized birds. But
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're pretty tame. The ones in this building.
Yeah.
So it was sitting on the ledge, right? The little. It's like zoo story time. We're supposed to talk innovations. And I was there, and I'm trying to get close to him so my wife can take a picture. Let's see how close I can get, you know. She missed the picture, but it took the straw from my Starbucks and jumped off, you know, onto the hallway part, not the hallway part, but like onto the people part of this thing.
Yep.
And so I'm chasing him. I get him, and I know how to like pick up a goose or a duck or whatever, same thing. Yeah. So I get him, and I pick him up. He's like 25 pounds.
Oh, wow.
And I get the straw. He's trying to bite me. I get the straw. I'm like, you're not getting this straw. I can't let you leave with this. You're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
So I saved that bird's life. And I
you did it, man.
At the same time.
Well,
so
sometimes they do that to themselves, you know.
Yeah. But take responsibility, guys. I'm a trained professional, so it was okay. But
yeah. So you and the 19-year-old, you guys need to
team up and run that building.
I think so, too.
That building is mostly reptiles, actually. And then it just has that bird flight area. So
interesting. Well, that's kind of cool. I like the idea of birds and reptiles together. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It used to be a bird house, but now it's this reptile house. It's one of the oldest buildings there.
Cool.
Another innovation. They put air conditioning in there. That was huge.
There it is. Yeah.
So, besides the honeycomb and me calling it the Hive for 6 weeks. Well,
don't stop doing that, by the way. I think it's awesome.
I called Josh Adler's. This is why I don't think he'll come on the show again. I called his business, Empire Exotics, instead of Exotic Empire, and I kept messing it up, and that's really rude and stupid. Because I think there is an Empire Exotics, and they're not great. I think
it's like one of those slither exotic, slither reptiles. I don't know if you're up on that, but yeah.
I haven't. No, thankfully, I don't know about the shitty ones. So
that one's bad.
Yeah. So I'll take your word.
Same thing though. Yeah.
I'll spread that. Yeah, I won't call you Reptile Slither.
Okay.
Mess that up. You would die to work with Cock of the Rock. Okay. Cool, man. That'd be a good T-shirt. I feel like that'd be a good T-shirt or an album.
I agree. That should be. You should make that. I'll buy that one too.
We'll buy that one. Let me talk to Luch, man. We got ideas. Now we're not talking about birds. So besides the Hive and your own innovations, what's one that just knocked your socks off in the last, say, 10 years? Even? Or you're talking about all these innovations you're seeing at shows. I don't know if that was before we went live or not, but you were talking about innovations now that you've seen at shows that are going to change the hobbies in the next 5 years.
Yeah, I think here's the thing. Right now, the way, at least what we're seeing
Yeah.
hobbyists gain access to this technology, and we're right now we're working through it. Right, we're like, what can I make? Who do I
Yeah.
know? What can I obtain? Right, to make on a small scale. But I think like right now we're
I
setting
love when
the
he keeps freezing.
precipice.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Are we good? We're good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, you froze, but every time you freeze, you talk with your
okay,
hands.
I'm gonna keep my hands down to myself. I always
No,
talk
keep
with
them
my
up
hands.
so then we know.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll keep them up. I think we're just seeing the start of what's coming. So like right now, we're just seeing things on small scales. Right. We're seeing like little accessories that make access to food, or like puzzle feeders, or in some cases we're seeing PVC. People are CNCing PVC to make really cool enclosures that make access easier. When you make access easier, that makes stress on animals go down quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like easier access is a big thing. Access to resources is another big thing. And we're seeing that with like I said, these puzzle feeders and these little cups. Uh, I think I don't know enough about this, but when I came out, I was pretty impressed. So like UVB in LED form, so like LEDs that are emitting UVB waves, because essentially like you can have a UVB wave that doesn't degrade over time. I think right now, if I do recall, that what's currently in production is overpowered. Someone can correct me on that. I'm not really sure, but like that can be really dangerous if you're not actually using something to measure. Same thing with heat, right? If you're not using a device to measure how much UV these products are producing, you could be doing the opposite for your animal, even though like you have the best of intentions, right?
Sure.
So yeah, so definitely, use something to measure everything. Measure your heat, measure your UV, all that good stuff. Get a timer to like set your day night cycles on and off. Even though analog timers are no new innovation, that's just something that people have access to that I don't think they know about yet. Like not everyone knows. You just get a timer from Lowe's or Home Depot or the dollar store that like sets that photo period for your spider or your reptile or whatever.
I mean, they have my buddy for his reef tank. He has a light system that's LED for the corals.
Yes.
He's got like a 150-gallon coral tank. And so the light that he has is long. It's 6 feet long.
Okay.
And it has the ability he has it timed to the weather systems in the Caribbean.
Dude,
so it'll mimic like night, day. It goes on and off. It's set to like our clock, but it's their weather pattern. So you'll see clouds go through. Like it's unbelievable.
That's next level. That is next level shit. I'm gonna be honest.
That's like 10 years old. That's been around for like 10 years. So
yeah, but like
imagine that.
Not everyone knows about it, right? I know that tech is expensive. But I do know it's also getting cheaper, right? But like there's lights that come on that don't just go, I'm on now, right? Full spectrum, full blast, boom.
Yes.
We're starting to understand the importance of that 3 to 4 hour time where light goes up and light goes down. And we're starting to understand the importance of that for animals in captivity, right? Because for a lot of animals, that's their time.
Yeah.
And we're missing that for a lot of animals, right? So is that your cat?
Yeah, that's Widget. I don't know what he's bothering me for. He's telling me that Bingo's out and moving around.
Oh.
So he's obsessed with
They have quirks, man.
Now. Yeah, he's obsessed with the skink, and he tells me all the time. Either that or the hamsters are doing something upstairs that he doesn't like. Yeah, I know somebody also that rigged up, because you were talking about corpuscular, and that's a lot of the animals we keep are corpuscular.
A lot.
Animals.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
So somebody I know has set up timers for their reptiles that there's the old dial timers. They have like 3 stops on it.
Yep.
So they set up 3 separate lights to go off on those 3 timers. So like here goes 1, an hour later, here goes 2.
They're staggering them.
I think it's like 15. So it does get brighter and less bright, but that's a workaround. That's not necessarily innovation. That's like it kind of is. It's
no. I think the information and the application is still innovation, even though you're not like coming up with like a like a multi-functional LED that like mimics weather pattern in a different part of the country. Like
Yeah,
knowing that is innovation in husbandry, and that relates to welfare. I think all of this comes back to our welfare for our animals, right? Like how our
sure.
understanding of what that means and how we measure that, how we're quantifying that. So if we think, oh, if I have a window, this is because this is what we do. We don't do this crazy fancy shit that you were just talking about because
Yeah,
we
yeah,
don't have to. It's available for those who want
yeah,
to,
yeah.
but we just have our timers go off. I think 2 hours before the sun sets, and
Okay.
that's our time. That's our corpuscular period right there. And that, like, I'm not kidding. Connected with that, we maybe you can count like 30 seconds. All the animals come out, all of them,
Wow.
right? So it's huge. And all I had to do was turn the lights off a little bit earlier, and I gave them that replication of their time in the wild, right? So,
That's wild.
and
That is
it's
wild.
simple. It's very simple. Yeah,
I wonder if
but
you could do that too, set the timer type of thing in your room, like with the smart bulbs or whatever, where it starts to, like I have
yeah,
it on a dimmer, but it
yep.
would kind of dim out. So the lights go out for your enclosures, and then after that, it slowly your lights go down over like an hour.
Yes. So
That would be cool.
you nailed it. Yep. So the immediate lights over the enclosure. This is why we do both, right? We heat the room, and then we have supplemental lighting and heating over the enclosures themselves, right? Because
Yeah,
we can do exactly what you just said, which is you're playing with both things and you're essentially accomplishing the same thing without expensive or, you know, very high tech stuff, right?
yeah.
You're playing. There's moss everywhere. Sorry.
Clearly, that's an alien. So
Yeah. Yeah.
they're all over the mountains in Tennessee. Those aliens. I
Dude,
keep seeing.
I
Yeah.
know. I keep waiting to see one. I keep so there's on our way to work because right now we're not technically living in our new building.
Okay.
There's a living space, but it's not finished. So we'll come to her parents to shower and whatnot. But on the drive there, we're driving through like mountains that like mountain cliffs, I guess. Like we're
Okay.
driving through these places, and then you see the valleys, right? Where then you see the mountain on the other side. And I always to Jessica, dude, there's going to be a spaceship there one day, and we're gonna have to get that on film because that's exactly if there's aliens, that's exactly where they're gonna be, right there. Like it just
Dude,
looks like that's where they're at. That's where they're
since
gonna
the
be.
since the like Pentagon guy announced it, I've seen more like sightings in, but it's always a snapshot. Nobody ever gets their camera out on it.
I know it's
They're all
never
taking
like
pictures, and it's like, really,
right,
really,
right,
we can film a cop trip on the sidewalk, but we can't film. You
exactly.
can't get your
Yeah,
camera out fast enough for this. It was out for
exactly.
like 15 minutes.
Oh yeah, I know. We have a plan. If we ever see one, we know we know exactly what we're gonna
Boom,
do.
have it
But
on.
yeah, yep,
I mean,
yep,
first step, shit your pants. Second
sure,
step, get your camera. Third step, wipe it off.
right,
Fourth step, take that video. What are you
yeah,
thinking?
yeah. I know. So one
Um,
day,
oh,
one day.
Tennyson's going to be getting one of these. So you should pre order Tennyson because they go quick.
So let's talk about that. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do a drop this Friday, but I'm gonna do a plug right now, Josh, if you're okay with that.
That's why you're here, kind of.
Okay,
So,
awesome. So yeah, we're gonna do a live Zoom event because we can't really do auctions and live auctions and stuff on
yeah,
Facebook,
sure, sure.
right? So we're doing a Zoom event hosted by Gecko Junkie. Tristan of Gecko Junkie was kind enough to invite us, and we're going to do a big drop then, along with a lot of animals, auction style. So you might be able
Okay,
to pick these things up cheaper. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Might be more
sure.
expensive. I don't know. But either way, we're going to make them available on the website then. And we'll auction some off, maybe able to get some cheap. I'm not really sure, but I'm going to try. I'm going to try real hard to do another drop this weekend. We'll announce it on our Facebook.
Check
But
them out, guys.
yeah, they'll be on Facebook or I'm sorry, on our website. So you can just place an order like usual. So let me talk about this too, man. The first drop we did, I sent these things off, and I would say 70% of the people that received these honeycombs were like, hey, these things showed up and like the walls were separated. And I was like,
Okay.
oh no. Like, the first drop we did, I was like, oh no, like what's going on? So
First step,
luckily,
shit your pants.
oh
Second
yeah,
step,
first, yeah, exactly. I
get
was
out your
like,
phone.
uh oh. Yeah, man, it was pretty bad.
Oh,
But what I think had happened is I have 3 different adhesive like agents. I use one for the acrylic, and then I experimented with the other 2 with the PETG.
Okay.
They all have the same working time, right? So to me, when I'm making these things, I'm applying this adhesive, and they're all, or cement rather, and it's working. It does exactly what it's supposed to do within 30 seconds, right? But I think the long-term effects are different between the 2. So I didn't label my syringes because I use like a hospital syringe. I don't know how else to
I
describe it.
got
A
you.
syringe with a fine tip needle, right? With like a fine tip needle, yeah. To apply these things, and I think what had happened is I had switched the syringes because the other people were like, there were, the other 30% were like, yeah, no problems whatsoever. This thing's awesome, thanks. So I'm like, so like, okay. Well, so instead of like figuring out that whole issue, I just went ahead and introduced silicone to the whole thing. So just like your aquarium or your Exoterra terrarium, all of these honeycombs are coming off the shelf with not only the cement, but a silicone bead, which I had to learn to do real quick. I had to learn how to do that real fast because
Right.
I wanted to avoid that because silicone is kind of a lot of work, and it's an art to make it look nice.
It is because it's real easy. You can tell I resealed this whole tank, and it's real easy to make it look shitty. Oh,
It is. I
I'm
know.
right now because
I know, man. And I was like, oh, dude, like I don't want to charge these people this much money and have this look like garbage, But like I figured it out. I got pretty good at it real quick. But anyway, so there's that. I want to be transparent about all this stuff, man. Luckily, everyone who got the first round of honeycombs is super cool, but they all got their replacements. I haven't had anything negative to say after they got their replacements. They're like, sweet, let's go.
And I mean, you know what? These are honest mistakes. They're handmade, essentially, in America.
Yep.
Buy with confidence, guys. American
in the
made.
mountain.
Okay, in the mountain.
Yeah.
It's gonna smell like mountain air when you open that box.
Oh yeah, there's lots of smells out here.
Maybe a moth.
Lots of moths. But yeah, man. I just want to give a shout out to everyone who has kind of like been there to like buy one of these things and like help us through this whole process because I had to learn a lot of things, dude. Like we're talking about innovation. I had to learn how to 3D print. That is like learning a foreign language times 10, CNC, all that other stuff. I had to work with OEM manufacturers to get the extrusion right. Again, my brother, thank goodness, he knows how to do all this stuff. But like, I had to learn all this stuff, right, just to try to make something in house and have it be U.S. made. And I'm not the only one doing it. Your cat's so funny.
Dude,
he's so upset.
What are you mad about? Go. I'm going to get the squirt bottle. You better go. I don't know what he's bothered. He wants to cuddle so bad.
Yeah, I think he wants your attention. I think he just wants to hang.
He does.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. You know it's Tuesday night. He's mad I'm not on the couch right now.
Anyway.
That's a real big learning curve.
Yeah, and I think we're all kind of going through this. I'm not the only one. But I think everyone is kind of like, everyone has their ideas, right? And everyone's trying to get a hold of this equipment to like make it happen and form it. And I'm seeing, like I said, I've seen it at these shows quite a bit, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, and it's kind of like your name is on it, so you want that quality. You're just starting out. Like,
right?
How scary is that? You're getting the feedback like it fell apart, man.
Dude, it was bad. Yeah, I was like, what do you mean it fell apart? And so I actually, it was pretty comical, dude. I had some test models that I had on the concrete floor in our building, and I was moving stuff around, just trying to make room because I'm bringing in these racks from the shows and I'm like modifying them and making them look nice. And I go to pick one of these honeycombs up that must have gotten that adhesive, and I dropped it maybe from ankle height, just got it out of my way, and the walls just like. It was like all at once, like all of them, and I was like,
and you're just like, what do you know?
I know. I was like, oh my god, like this just fell apart. You know what I mean? So anyway, not all adhesives, even though they say bonds, PETG are created the same. Yeah, that's okay. A learning curve.
That is 2 different materials, 2 different adhesives. That makes sense.
Yeah,
and they're the ones you're saying it's the cement. So it's the one that like chemically bonds.
Correct. Yeah, like melts them together for lack of better terms. Yeah.
It turns into one piece. So
exactly.
Those things are so cool. They use
it's amazing.
So you've got chemistry in here. You've got physics. There's a math. You even threw a math in there somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Geometry. This is like so educational. If you guys are into homeschool, which you should be, because our
Oh, one
education
thing I will
system.
say, and my brother who is a mechanical engineer hates this, but as far as I'm concerned, metric.
Oh,
Go
metric.
metric.
Your
Yeah.
engineer brother hates metric.
Well, like he he's all like, give me the 0.00 something inches, and I'm like, why are we
Okay.
not talking in millimeters? Like why are we not? I don't. It's so much more accurate, and he's like, just so there's that.
It's fine. Like, you take care of that insect, and I'll take care of the plastic,
I
bro.
know he gets so mad at me, yeah, but I'm just like, it needs to be exactly this many millimeters, and he's like, no, I don't work that way.
We're gonna make it inches, so
I
then the
know, and
Chinese definitely won't steal it. Yeah,
right, exactly,
insane. That's
yeah,
really funny. That's really
dude,
funny.
yeah, but I think eventually with the way all of these uh, machines are being made and the way we're all kind of learning, I think metric's going to be the way to go for sure. So
I'm still shocked we haven't. I figured by this time in my life we'd be metric system
I
because
know,
I'm not a fan
I,
of Kelvin. I don't understand what Kelvin is on the thermometer, but
right, me neither.
yeah, like 100
Right.
degrees is freezing. Like I don't know if that's true or not. I read something and I was like, that's not freezing. That's like
Yeah, what
you
are we
could
talking
die.
about?
What are you talking
Yeah, I
about?
know. I'm the same way.
But yeah, I feel like we need to move. I'm still an inch guy physically, but I comprehend the millimeters, centimeters.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I don't know about kilometers. I don't know that I'd ever go to
Well,
kilometers.
I just learned that like in building the honeycomb, like a millimeter difference in some parameter is the difference between things working and things not working, right? So it was like,
Yeah,
okay, well, the closer I can get to that success, the better, right? Because everyone wants tight tolerances, right? Like no gaps, no slop, no this, no that. Well, then I got to talk in millimeters, right? Like, because I don't know, everything's just got to be real, real, real tight, real small. So
yeah, real exact. I mean, you've got it. You're not going to build a hive or a honeycomb all willy nilly. You
right,
got to
I
be
tried that, it didn't work. Yeah, yeah,
standards, man, standards.
for real. Yeah, yeah,
Otherwise, it's just a log pile. That's the next innovation, just log pile. A bunch of
yes.
PVC just stacked together and glued.
Yeah, PVC is going to present another one. That one I'm not so sure about, but I'm determined to do it. Yeah, there's a lot of cool PVC stuff that people are making, man. Like
Yeah,
a lot of these PVC enclosures are really cool. I've been hanging out with gecko breeders quite a bit lately, and it's awesome. But I'm looking at it like, okay, I see screws. I don't want to use screws. How do I get away from screws? How do I get
yeah,
away from
yeah.
adhesives in general? Like, so the brain's always working. But man, um, super, super neat.
I feel like you
PVC,
need to look
PVC.
into research the old school wood joining techniques
Yeah.
that they
Well,
have.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
People are already doing that. You're right. People are
For
already
the
doing that.
PVC, you just slot it
hmm
together, or use a rubber mallet, whatever, and like they could build an amazing thing would never fall apart in 1,000 years with no nails, no
Yes.
screws. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of joining the wood right.
I agree.
Um, and if we have the machines doing it for us, I don't see
Well,
why
that's
this
just
would work
it. Like
amazing.
my plan is to make an extrusion that just like takes the two materials at a 90-degree angle and like marries them together, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly it. So it's just a part that makes it happen, and then I don't have to think about it. Um, that's coming soon. I already have that made. I just have to wait a little bit longer. But yeah, that's just part of it. I was like, I hate screws. How do I get away from screws? Oh, I make something that joins the two materials together and then eliminates that step for me and makes it strong,
yeah.
right? Without a screw, right?
Right, and then
So
it'll be not just sealed like right where the screw is; it'll be sealed all the way along
right at the
every
seam.
edge, and
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, you're good to go.
Yes.
Um, do the slot grooves. Kyle's a big fan of the slot grooves. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. See, there's plenty of innovation left to be done. I just can't get over all the things that we have. Like I was around, I think, when they started up with in-tank filters, like for
Oh
aquariums.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah. There's like the underground and then like the sponge.
that was what you had. You had the underground filter, so you needed like
Yeah.
kind of big grade gravel,
Yep.
and then you had the sponge filter, and they all ran off the air pump, and you had a box filter on the outside. You had
Yep.
the canister filters; those were optional, but the
Yeah.
in-tank filters were not a thing. That was not a thing. In tank heaters was not a thing.
Right.
Well, it was for like people with big bucks.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. We saw the old aquarium in a antique store that had like the lead, uh, frame on it.
Yeah.
That's how it was built. It's like 200 years old or something.
Oh my
And it's
goodness.
like, how do they even keep fish in there? Do they just have a guy on a bike with one of those bellows, just pumping air into the tank? Like, how did they do it? They didn't have
Yeah.
electricity. Are those
Yeah, I'd be
things
curious
dying every
how
day?
long. Yeah, exactly. How long did they keep the fish alive in there for?
Probably 100 years. They probably live
Right.
forever in this
You're
stupid
right.
box of lead water.
Probably. Yep.
Yeah,
What do we know?
yeah. And now if you have like 1 part per million of copper, you're gonna murder your whole tank.
Exactly.
It's wild.
I think someone was asking. Someone was asking earlier. I saw something about different sizes. Oh yeah, Tennyson.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, this is flying by. Tennyson sounds like a Tennyson question.
Yeah, let me address that. So yes, so just with the honeycomb line itself, we're going to go up to 18 inches. 18 inches is the goal eventually. Now, in what materials I can achieve that with, I don't know. Probably for sure PVC. Um, PETG, I can probably do it, but I have to increase thickness, and then I have to pay attention to cost and all that other
Yeah,
stuff. But
yeah.
for sure, honeycomb will reach a length of 18 inches tall or 18 inches wide, and I think we'll probably stop honeycomb there. Yeah,
Makes sense.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
sure. Yeah, that's the plan. Purple box will remain acrylic, but definitely not going over 12 inches for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. See, acrylic just works at that point or whatever.
Yep. Forget it. And then you're paying just for quarter inch. It's going to be just shy of $100 for one. And when I'm at these shows and I see an Exoterra of the same size sitting right next to it for $39 or $40. You know what I mean? It's just it's one of
Yeah.
those things where like, mm,
Why
I don't
bother?
know.
Why
Right.
go to the trouble of making my thing when it's already out there and I'm not going to sell them anyway? Like,
Correct. Yeah, you have something that's now just as heavy, just for the sake of it being acrylic, and it could possibly warp. And I mean, I get the purple. Don't get me wrong. I like the purple. Don't I love that? But is it really worth it to me and the customer? Right? Like, I probably not. You know.
right, right. I mean, is it worth it? Yes. Is it gonna sell? Because, like you said, they can turn around to see the Exoterra, which is, that's your competition, right? You're seeing everybody has an
Right.
Exoterra.
Yeah.
Um,
Our
so
whole room is Exoterra, so
yeah,
I get it. Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
you should buy some of your own products.
Well, that's why I said, okay, I'm gonna keep these honeycombs. These are actually really nice. I'm gonna keep them. But before we made all this stuff, yeah, it was all just Exoterra. So
Sure.
if it ain't broken, don't fix it. That's my
You and everybody else. It's either Exoterra or I see a million people with like the modified like breakfast cereal containers with the
yes,
goofy top for the tarantulas. I see that, or
yes,
scorpions or whatever.
hmm
Yeah, I see that all the time, and it's functional. But
right.
the
It
absolute
works,
best.
but
Some of the stuff I've seen them modify it with have been really, really good.
uh huh.
Or at least better than most. So yeah, I mean you can do something with it, but it's
Dude,
not
like
specifically designed.
I've seen these. I don't know if they're injection molded or if they're 3D printed. I haven't looked that closely, but I've seen some of
Sure.
those conversion kits where you like take the aquarium and you stand it up like this, and then you
Yeah,
put the
yeah,
front on it that's ventilated with a super easy swivel access door. Like that's awesome. And how simple. Like that design is already there. You're
yeah.
just making it way more functional and more versatile for either hylids or dendrobatids or tarantulas. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
whatever you
that's
want.
super cool. I actually sent an email to Exoterra. I was like, you guys need to get on that because so many people are capitalizing on your design for tarantulas, but they're just not nailing it. Like, you guys should just offer a replacement lid so that, like the claws don't get stuck.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I was like, I'll help you. Like, that would be so awesome. You guys are just you're
yes.
missing the mark. I'll help you design it and everything because it needs to happen, I think. But
That's why I
yeah,
think, I don't mind giving people ideas or chiming in. So
yeah,
now that I see and have talked about the ventilation and everything on this thing, on
yep,
the honeycomb,
yep.
I had an idea for you that you were like, oh, that's a good idea. My input was to have, and this is innovation, guys. So my input was to have a hole, basically, where the honeycomb honeycomb has the slots,
Mm-hmm.
and then you would have a thing you could put in there, like an insert kind of.
Yeah, like a stopper.
Like, oh, you want more ventilation, less ventilation, or even a stopper. You could stop one side so it just flowed through the top to the side, and adjust it, or have different meshes on there or something, like for different animals.
Yes.
But the way that the ventilation works, the way that after you describe that's so much more free flowing and better as is.
Yeah.
Much more sense.
But I like what you said. So I talked about aluminum soffits. So like unless we design our own soffit, right? What's already on the market, you can actually remove and then put like a fine mesh. So like say you have morning geckos or some sort of micro gecko, and you want to make more of them. You want to breed them in that tank. You can remove that soffit and then put something fine in there. So like a fine no-see-um mesh or something, and put it back so that those animals can't escape. So now you have essentially two enclosures in one, with having that ability to remove that ventilation like you just talked about.
Right. Because
that's a great idea. Yeah.
Yeah, because like, is this thing good for dart frogs? Yeah. Will flightless fruit flies get out of those vent holes?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
So like they're good, but maybe not perfect. You'd have to find something to kind of block those up. And if you did your own mesh, it would look really goofy on there on this beautiful product. So but like, centipede, or not centipedes. I keep saying centipedes. Don't keep centipedes, you guys.
Yeah. I just had to ship centipedes for the first time. Never again. I will never, ever offer or breed those animals ever again.
They're terrifying.
that was a nightmare.
You should watch that episode. Like, that's facing my fears. I wanted to go to someone's house and like try to handle one, I know that dude, the Brave Wilderness or whatever. It was going to be that kind of thing. Face your fears, but they will just attack you. They will just grab you for no reason.
Yeah, they're a different level of animal for sure.
Yeah. So, but their front, I didn't know those were legs.
Yeah, modified legs.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So that's a death hug. We had a death hug. Yep. Even scarier.
I know, man. That was very stressful. We only had to ship 2 of them. We had to pack up and ship 2 of them, and I was like, we both were like,
why did you have those?
Well, I saw those little Malaysian jewel centipedes.
They are beautiful. They are beautiful.
Yeah, very pretty. And we actually figured it. We were doing well with them. Anyway, but it just didn't fit. We kind of talked about our plans, and I was like, these guys don't really fit. Let's let go of them.
That's responsible.
They're doing really well now. Like they made it safe and everything was fine. But man, packing those animals up, I was like, we don't have time for this. Like that was very stressful. Dude. So I don't know. I'm sure there's a hack, but I don't know what it is. So
that's wild. That is wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, mantis. You can feed a mantis in there, and your feeders will escape. They're going to be fine. I don't know. There's a million things you can keep in there that are small enough in their feeders, or maybe they don't even use feeders.
Yeah, and day gecko for sure. Well, see, and that's where the PVC is going to come in. I think PVC, the PVC variants are going to really fulfill a lot of those species. Right now, I really think mantids maybe, but true spiders and tarantulas, that's kind of where this current model fits. And then the next immediate model to come out is the 12 by 8 by 8. That'll be top opening, also stackable with the same honeycomb frame, right? That's the next one to come out. That again, tarantula oriented, but it'd be really cool to do like those like fossorial. Jessica calls them haplotanks, right? The real tall, but real narrow for like fossorial species that you can like flood the tank, so like the bottom is ventilated and you can just pour water in them, and it like essentially floods. It like mimics that rain season for the fossorial animals, right? Floods the whole thing and water comes out. That'd be really cool. But anyway, down the road.
Good. Sorry, I'm watching a conversation that I'm not thrilled about. Anyway, live studio audience.
Yes, sir.
Can't get away from it. Mm-mm. So I wouldn't want to. I love my audience.
Yes.
No, let's not talk about how we killed various things. Let's knock that shit off. So, if we could, it's not really what we're about. Take that to PMs or something. What was I saying? I got totally sidetracked. Sorry, I got real annoyed real fast.
Oh, you're good, man.
So,
you're good.
I don't remember what we're talking about. We're on to the next thing.
Yeah, we're sounding tonight. We're just rambling. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
now we are. We're at the point where we're rambling.
that's all right. Yeah, man. It's super cool, man. And I want to thank everyone for like all the support. It's been super cool, man. There's so much competition and there's so much available for like literally there's so many options. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so much for everyone. And I know, you know, the cheaper the Zilla, like the micro habitat thing, like that's all that everything's gonna have a place and there's gonna be a need for all that little stuff. And then you can go to Walmart and get these little shoe boxes, which, you know, kind of you can keep the animal in there. I think it's gonna be really hard to fulfill these needs that we're talking about as far as like gradients and stuff like that. That's why we don't do it. But not, I don't know. But seriously, like the support for like a small manufactured in the U.S. product it's been great. So like better than I thought it could be. And I think what that says is like there's a market for more of this. And I really encourage other hobbyists and keepers to like look into this technology, look at what I'm making, look at what your competition is making, look at what Exoterra is making, and be like, how can we make it better? You know, like, dude, you can do it. You can do it. Like I'm an idiot, guys, and I'm figuring it out. You know, for real, it's real. This stuff is really hard for me. I have to try really hard, but like I'm determined and I want to make something better. So I don't know.
So
yeah, everyone can do it. Yeah,
you've got the ideas. You're coming up with it. You're putting out products that are your vision made reality, which is awesome.
that's great.
And I think that's great. So I just, yeah, Tennyson has legit questions. He did ask about ventilation. What was it, Tennyson? Can you repeat it? I thought we got it, but conversion kits.
Yeah, convert. So yeah, the problem I will bring that up too. I feel the same way. Aunt Sandy talked about. When you're doing these conversion kits, you're not, unless you actually take a diamond bit and you're drilling these tanks on the sides and the top, you are lacking that flow through ventilation, and that for some species that is a big deal, right? That's why every product we offer is going to have the side top at the very least, right? But she's right. Yeah, those conversion kits lack that. A lot of hylids and dendrobatids, it's not really an issue, but for geckos it could be. Yeah, for sure.
I can see that as long as they, have the decent ventilation that you need to get that all that humidity out of there, or enough of it out of there that it's not causing
exactly
grossness. Morning geckos need that good amount, so that's good. Sorry, I'm so distracted by this conversation right now.
You're good.
Tennyson, what was your question? He had a question about ventilation, and I don't know what it was. I had a valid question. I believe it. I'm scrolling up like, will ventilation be consistent between every product? Air here is super dry, so I need less ventilation for things that need higher humidity. Just pack it with cotton balls, man.
So yeah, so my response to that is like it's more beneficial for us in general to offer more ventilation than what someone might need. And we compensate for that personally by misting and using soils or sphagnum moss, like stuff that retains moisture, and adding that moisture to the environment. It's always best to over ventilate, and that's how we're going to always keep things, because somewhat from my end, someone could see a product and mistake it for, like, for example, their Caribbean versicolor or an arboreal tarantula and put it in that wrong product that's not really meant for that. And then that thing doesn't have the ventilation it needs, right? It's much easier for us to explain add moisture to the environment and let it evaporate than to restrict airflow for certain species. It's just much safer that way. It's much easier for us. It's much less of a headache for us, because again, we want to stand behind our product. And if someone's like, I bought this, and whether we told you or not, like, you put that animal in it and it died as a result, and it's just messy, and we don't want to go there, so it's much easier for us to just say mist or add water, right? So everything will probably be over ventilated, and if anything, probably not enough, because again, you're comparing things to like outside where air moves far more than a box within a box, right? Your room, your house within a room within a box. So you got to think about that.
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody's talking about vent covers too. I think we could come up with some easy fixes if you needed it at your own house. At your own house. Don't hang out in a house, guys.
And I will say too, like what Tennyson is saying, we just came from Michigan in a basement where
Yeah.
it was actually like 17% humidity, if not less. And it did affect our collection immensely. Like our animals behave very differently. The mortality rate among like hatchlings, like increased. Like it was just rough. And we had humidifiers. We missed it every single day. It was hard. It was rough, right? So.
Yeah.
That's just something you have to compensate for. Automated misting, actually having ultrasonics or something like that that produce that moisture in the environment. And if not, like saran wrap. Saran wrap has been our friend for Emblicabi. I'm going to say that wrong. Whip spiders, right? So we have a lot of those. And to compensate for that, we would wrap the screen of the enclosure with saran wrap and essentially create a solid top to decrease that amount of air escaping, right? So that's what I would recommend. And plus that stuff clings to plastic really well. So
yeah, I was thinking of something you could just cling over real easy.
Exactly.
And still be pretty good looking. You could
Yeah.
mask it.
Yeah.
Maybe use something to smooth it out a little bit.
Oh, that micropore tape. I think they use it quite a bit in the medical industry, so like wounds and stuff can breathe. But micropore tape, you can just put it right over the ventilation because there's still air exchange, but it's restricting the amount of air that's moving, if that makes sense.
Oh, that's smart.
Micropore tape.
Yep. See, there you go. See, guys, there's answers for everything.
Yeah.
All right, brother. I think that's what I got. I think we got it all in there.
All right.
And we kept almost all the innovation talk about your product, which I'm proud of myself. I had a list of other innovations that I thought were great in the hobbies since I've been in the hobbies.
Oh, I know, man.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate it. But yeah, there's so much out there, you guys. And I just encourage everyone to like try. If you have an idea and you're frustrated because you haven't seen it, try. Yeah, look into it. See if you can do it.
Do it.
Because I guarantee if you feel one way, you're not the only one, right? So, yeah.
I have to Google all my invention ideas because somebody's done it already. Always.
Right. That's the tricky thing. Yeah.
So, Wally just showed up. Wally, you have to go back. This is a pretty good one. I just gotta say. So, well, I have to fix my innovative waterfall that you can't really see behind me.
In that tank there?
See, this
okay.
Here is a waterfall. And for whatever reason, whatever I use to try to make it safer is causing it to back up more. I thought
What animal is that for?
That's for my ants. That's this is a tank. It's 100 gallons that I modified as a paludarium. There's fish here. I have giant Danios, white cloud mountain minnows, and cory cats in here.
Gotcha.
And then female beta. And then ants, lots and lots of ants. And then they have this action here.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, so you do that kind of stuff for tarantulas. I did it for an ant.
I love that. That's awesome, man.
This top part goes actually to 30-gallon tank that is right here. This is her original enclosure. She has both. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is
gotcha.
This is the larva area right here. So.
Let's talk about this off camera. I want to know more about all this.
All right.
You got going
Let me pull you out, do my clothes, and then we'll talk about this. I'm excited to talk about somebody.
Is this Mr. Wally Kern? Is this the Supreme Gecko individual here?
It is Mr. Wally Kern.
Okay. I'm going to be in contact with you, sir, because Jessica has questions about some micro geckos you work with. She was mentioning your name the other day, so that's coming in hot. Expect to hear from me. Us martial arachnids. We're going to
innovate.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
I'll connect you guys.
Awesome.
Get connected if you don't know each other already. So.
That'd be good.
All right. Give me a minute. I'll be right with you.
Got it.
I'm jealous of your mountain atmosphere.
Yeah, it's nice. Pitch black. There is a fire. I don't know if I showed anyone that.
It is. He's got a fire. It's 120 degrees over there. He's got a fire.
We are cooking. We are cooking.
Maybe
Thank you
get
guys.
some mods away. Glad to have you. I think everybody learned a lot today. So
awesome.
Not just
Thank you
about your
guys.
product.
Always a pleasure.
Always. Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Guys, that's my buddy Ryan. Originally had him on because of his passion for tarantulas. Saw one of his videos and just fell in love in a very hetero way, but still maybe a little the other way. But he's handsome. What you gonna do? So guys, we have a Patreon. If you're already a member of the Patreon, thank you so much. Money is going to help medical people that need medical help in the Virgin Islands. It's not a lot, but it's something we can do. So hopefully it'll help them out. Somebody. Having recently had my medical issues, I know how dear that is to people. So I was out long enough to use my PTO up, but not long enough to qualify for short-term disability. So go America. Just our healthcare system is trash. But anyway, enough about that. So if you want to help out, it's patreon.com/isobuddies. There's a $1 tier for like less than a cup of coffee a day. You could help us for a month. So there's the $1 tier. That's fine. $3 better, $5 even more better, and $10 the best. We're working on some merch for our higher tiers, and I'm keeping track of who has been a higher tier, so I can just send them even post membership. That's really the only perk that we have, except that you support this beautiful show. We're also working on getting a new camera and a new mic. Apparently, I'm very raspy. So next week, we are talking to, I believe, Scott Ellicott. I don't have my schedule in front of me, unfortunately. I think we're going to talk to Scott about keeping founding colonies of ants. So like the little test tubes I showed you guys last week, we're going to talk about test tube to formicarium to 130-gallon paludariums with a canopy. So we're going to go from baby test tubes to giant tanks. So that should be good too, because I think a lot of people are into the ants now, or interested at least. So, okay, you see the shorts? Yeah, they're just green this time. Green and orange is my jam. But we'll talk to you guys next week. We'll talk less about murdering things, hopefully, and we'll just knock that off. So join us next week, guys. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate everybody watching. I appreciate my patrons. I appreciate if you go again to AntSandySkinks.com, 25% off a skink until further notice. Use the code ISOBuddies as usual. I mean, that's the code. Just try that code anywhere you go. See what happens. So also Springtails US, springtails.us. I'll put their thing in the comments too. They're our sponsor. So a little bit of whatever you buy there with the coupon code gives you 10% off. Some of that comes back to us. So I don't know what yet. We haven't really worked that out. But, Don's here. Okay, good. Thanks for showing up, Don. For real. So we will talk to you guys later. And I love you guys. Thank you so much. And see you next week. And now I hit the end broadcast.